Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Amelia and here on this channel we talk about writing, journaling, and productivity to help you curate a life that you love. Okay, before we get into anything on this video, I have to warn you that if you hear a lot of meowing, that is my new cat. She loves to meow, she is a baby, and she's not in this room because it would be very hard for me to focus on filming if she was. Also, I wanted to point out that the lighting's a little funky. I've been looking for a day where it would be very sunny and I could film with better lighting, but it has not been sunny. So we're just gonna have to overlook the yellowish tint if there is one. I've tried my best to fix my camera settings so that way it wouldn't be so yellow, but here we are. So for today, we are doing a part 2 on the journaling with tarot topic. I did this a long time ago when I lived at my other apartment, probably like a few months to a year ago. I have no idea when it was, but it was a while back. And since then I have been getting more into tarot and trying to learn how to do proper readings, so that's exciting. And I thought now that I have more knowledge when it comes to tarot, I wanted to do a part 2 on how I use tarot in journaling. So if you are interested in tarot or you are interested in journaling or both, like me, then this is a video that you are going to really enjoy, I hope. So before we get into today's video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. It really helps out me and my channel, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are interested in journaling tips and journaling content like this. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So before I give you the first idea on how to journal with the tarot, I wanted to point out that I do have that other video, so I might just let my cat in. So I ended up bringing my cat in. So she's here with us. She'll be here for the duration of the video, I suppose. So before we get into the bulk of this video, I did want to point out that I do have that other video, so I'm not going to be covering the same tips or the same ways that I go about journaling with tarot. So if you are interested in seeing those other prompts and other ideas when it comes to journaling with tarot, they're more basic and better suited for a beginner. But if you're interested in that, that's a totally different video. Now, to get into the good stuff, the first way that I love using tarot in journaling is through shadow journaling. Now, if you've seen my video on shadow journaling, you know that it is a very heavy subject. It requires a lot of introspection, self-reflection, but ultimately leads to self-growth and the ability to accept yourself for who you are, flaws and all. So I love using tarot for shadow journaling because tarot kind of calls you out for the things that you don't know you're doing. Now, whether you believe in the tarot or not, I do think it's a very fun activity, a very fun thing to do. I personally do believe in it. I don't mind if you don't, but I do think it's a fun way to do shadow work and to perform shadow journaling because tarot, each card has a different meaning that can relate to the inner self and just introspective and healing work. So the way I go about shadow journaling with tarot is I will perform a tarot reading and read the cards, see what they say. Typically I walk in with a question, so it could be like, how are my fears holding me back? Or something like, in what way am I projecting my own emotions and struggles onto others? And I can use those questions, use the reading to gain some sort of new perspective or answer. So typically the cards will tell you your fears are holding you back by forcing you to remain silent about things that you care about. Or maybe it'll say that your fears are holding you back by keeping you from taking a risk when you need it. And these are things I can gather from the cards, so I tend to use those as inspiration for the next step. Now the next step, of course, is shadow journaling itself, and so I will use that tarot reading and what the cards have given me as advice, and I will use that as the basis for a new prompt or a new way of self-reflection. So to elaborate on this a bit, I use Biddy Tarot a lot when it comes to readings just because the way that the author or the creator of Biddy Tarot laid out each card, it's just so in-depth and so detailed. So I will use her descriptions, see what relates to my situation and to me, and I will jot that down in my journal, like as little bullet points. And then I will use those bullet points to form another prompt, or I will go into my list of self-discovery prompts or just any prompts that I have up on my website, which I have a link down below. I also have 100 free journal prompts that you can get. That's like 100, they're free. You sign up to my email newsletter, that's down below too. So if you are in need of journal prompts, I got you. Go to those links. But I will use those as well for myself and see which journal prompts match my current situation, and then I will further elaborate, further reflect on my shadow self and the things that are hindering my growth. Now, the second way that I use tarot in journaling, especially recently, is to memorize the tarot. And tarot is a very complicated thing. First of all, there are 78 cards, typically, in a deck, and if you count reversals, that's 156 different meanings, and those meanings are very dependent upon which cards are paired together in a deck, what your question is, etc., etc. So I've been trying to become more knowledgeable about tarot and to learn it, so I have been using journal prompts and journaling as a way to memorize the tarot. Now, there are a few things I've been doing. For one, I have been taking notes as I read. I've been reading a ton of different tarot books to help me memorize it. I've also made like little character sheets, sort of, for each tarot card, so I write down what it makes me think of. If the card was a person, who would it be? Those kinds of prompts. I write down attributes in both its upright and reverse position, so each card kind of gets a little in-depth like look and journal exercise, so to help me memorize it. But I also write down almost every single reading. I should be writing down every single reading, but depending on the time that I have, sometimes I just write down very in-depth readings or maybe a daily draw if it is very important and really resonates with me. By journaling this way, I am recording everything that I learn, but I'm also helping myself to memorize the tarot much better and more quickly, because as you write things down, you tend to remember them later, especially if you are continuously writing things down. So when it comes to memorization, even if you don't use it, this tip for tarot, and you use it for school or something, continuously writing about something will help you better remember it in the future. Now, not everybody's a reading, writing learner. I do have a video all about like types of learning styles that I can list below, and I do need to come back to that series on how to journal based on your learning style, but we'll get to that at some point. But if you are not a reading, writing learner, this could be a bit more challenging, but for me personally, it works wonders. If you're looking for a fun way to use tarot in your journaling exercises, one of my favorite things to do is to tell fictitious stories. So by fictitious story, this essentially means that you use the cards as inspiration for characters, for scenarios, situations, and you tell a story using them. One thing I really like to do is to have a pull, say, 3 cards, and each card will represent a character. I typically use the major arcana for this especially, but you can use pretty much any card in the entire deck to be your character, and then your character would have traits of that card. So if I have, say, the 6 of Cups, then that character might be very nostalgic, very like reminiscent upon the past, and very youthful. Or if I had, say, the Empress, I might use a motherly character, or a character who is an artist or a creator, just because those are the attributes associated with those cards. So I use tarot to create characters for like short, like creative writing prompts and writing situations, but I also use it to tell stories in general. So I will do, say, a 3-card reading for beginning, middle, and end to see how the story plays out. And this can be very fun. Again, this is more of a thing that you can do if you are farther along on your tarot journey, but if you are a beginner, you can simply use keywords of each card as your beginning, middle, and end, and just base a story around that. Say the first card, well, for the sake of simplicity, happens to be the Fool, then you could say that your story starts as a new adventure, you have a very innocent character, happy outlook on things, you know, a similar story starting point to, say, Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, for example. Of course, this is dependent upon you and how you want to tell your story and which cards you pull, of course, but I think it's a really fun way to, one, better understand and memorize tarot, but also to just use it as a way of creative expression, to tell creative stories, and really hone your writing skills. While I am a writer by profession, there are tons of people in my life who, while they are not writers by profession, they absolutely love telling stories, writing creative stories. I think it's like an innate human attribute or like characteristic that we each have, and telling stories just feels so good, especially when you are the creator and you get to determine exactly what happens, what world it happens in, and just let your imagination go wild. Okay, so for those of you who maybe don't want to take a creative route, but you want to work on self-discovery or bettering yourself, motivation, those kinds of things, then this is definitely for you. Using tarot for affirmations. This is great. Oh, I almost wanted to say life-changing. I don't know if it's life-changing. I'm not sure about that, but it is a really fun thing to do. As many of you know, if you have seen my morning or evening journaling videos, I care a lot about affirmations and the ability to manifest what you want and who you want to be in your life. So one way I do this is through the tarot. Now personally, I prefer oracle decks for manifestation and affirmations, and oracle decks are different from tarot. To give you a crash course if you don't know the difference, tarot decks follow, say, the Rider-Waite Smith, the Thoth Tarot, or the Tarot de Marseille's pattern, or like that sort of thing. I don't know what you'd call that style. I don't know. But it follows one of those three main tarot groups, and the cards tend to be 78. You have cards like the Fool, the Empress, you have 6 of Cups, 7 of Cups, that kind of thing. But oracle decks tend to be a bit more diverse. They can be about almost anything. So I personally have an oracle deck that's about spirit animals, and each spirit animal has a little meaning under it. But I also have a friend who has an oracle deck, and hers is based on one word and then a small meaning, and each oracle card means something different based upon the author's interpretation and the author's idea. So oracle and tarot are different, and I prefer oracle with affirmations, but you could do this in tarot, and I will explain both now. So the way I use oracle decks for affirmations is I will shuffle the deck and pull out a card and see what that card is, read its meaning, and then write an affirmation based on that meaning. So I'm going to make this up now because I don't have my oracle deck in front of me, but let's say I had a card like the Spider, and it said something like, you are in control of your dreams, or you're the creator of your dreams. That's just what my interpretation of the Spider is. I don't actually know if my card says that. But if that were the case, then I could write, I am the creator of my life. I have the ability to dream my dream life into being. I am able to create my dream life. I am able to dream big and reach for the stars, those sorts of affirmations. Because oracle decks tend to be very focused on positivity and growth, they are perfect for affirmations. And since they don't necessarily look like the traditional tarot decks, you can get anything in any style that you prefer, and they typically just look like a deck of playing cards. So for anybody who doesn't really feel comfortable with like occult decks or items, I think oracle is a great way, because you could literally just purchase affirmation cards and they would be very similar to oracle decks. Now, if you are interested in journaling for affirmations with tarot, this is a bit trickier and a bit different. So to give you an example, let's say we get the card Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune, both upright and reversed, tends to be about karmic energy and this idea that the wheel keeps on turning, that life is cyclical and things will go from good to bad, bad to good over and over and over again. For me personally, when I pull this card, which I do quite often, I have a couple things that I need to recognize. So first, I am very controlling when it comes to my life and how I live it, and I have a very hard time trusting in the process and just allowing things to happen to me. So when I pull the Wheel of Fortune, if I were to write an affirmation, my affirmation could be like, I let go of the need to control every little aspect of my life. Or it could be like, I trust the process and that the universe has a plan for me, or God has a plan for me, or whatever your personal belief may be. So that's one way to use tarot for affirmations. Of course, each card has a different meaning, so you can look at the card's meaning, see where you're struggling, and then create an affirmation from it. I do think for beginners, oracle's a bit easier to create affirmations, but tarot can be done, and I really do enjoy it. So the next way that I use tarot in journaling is for prompt inspiration. So as a person who loves creating journal prompts for myself and for others, I do share most of the ones I make. I really like the tarot because it helps me create prompts on things I wouldn't have thought about making a prompt for. So to give you an example, because I know this is a little strange, let's say that I draw the Empress card. Now, the Empress in the tarot deck is the mother of the deck. She's a very motherly figure, and She represents creativity, abundance, life, nature, that kind of thing. If I draw this card and I'm looking to create a journal prompt, then some of the prompts that I might use are, in what ways have I been creative? Or how do I express myself creatively? Or in what ways have I embodied the archetype of the mother? Or in what ways have I been an overbearing mother to my friends, to my family? Have I been controlling? That kind of thing. Or I could say, in what ways do I invite love and life into my life? How have I connected with nature recently? As you can see, there are so many prompts that you can get from just one card, and every card has the ability to create tons of journal prompts to help you further explore yourself, your life, your situations via journaling. So if you need help with this, I actually have a good recommendation. It's a book I'm currently reading. It's called Tarot 101 by Kim Huggins, and in her book, it has a bunch of journaling exercises as you learn the tarot, so it helps for memorization, but she also has journal prompts for every single tarot card, I think. I haven't got to the minor arcana yet, but all of her major arcana have like so many, like probably 10 journal prompts per card, if not more. And it has been so eye-opening and amazing. I really like that I can use the tarot to create new journal prompts to help farther explore myself and to understand my situations, where I may be controlling or where I may be projecting my emotions onto others and things like that. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, we all have like things that we need to work on. Shadow journaling is a big part in understanding yourself and fixing those problems, and better understanding how you respond to things. And I think that these journal prompts derived from each tarot card is like beyond beneficial. At some point, I would love to maybe come out with a few different journal prompts per card, or at least per major arcana card, which I could put up on my blog, but I haven't really done that yet. But that is an idea. If you guys are interested in that, please let me know down below, because I would love to offer more journal prompts and inspiration, especially through tarot, if you are interested in tarot. And if you're not, these journal prompts can still apply to you. If I ask you, in what ways have you been creative, that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with tarot. Tarot is just the means I use to get that prompt, but it doesn't have anything to do with the occult anyway, so if you aren't comfortable with it, this would totally work. Alright, well, that was a short video. I feel like it had a lot of information packed in there, but I tried to keep things very concise, very easy to understand. If you want me to go into depth on any other topic that was mentioned in this video, please leave a comment down below letting me know what you are interested in learning when it comes to journaling, journaling with tarot, journaling for self-discovery, and all of that good stuff. So thank you again for watching today's video, and until next time, I will catch you later.